Yeah. Um, Today I want to talk about a real serious subject. So yeah, my voice tone is going to be a little different, and that subject is the sexual abuse of little boys, and specifically the sexual abuse of little boys by older women. And it's interesting what made me discuss this. Um, because on a couple of videos, I did a video talking about dealing with older women, and also did another video about how I learned the game and all of that, and a few more videos. I might mention some things along those lines about how older women will take advantage of not just teenage boys, but little boys. And I have to give a shout out to different men who have commented because I'm starting to get comments here and there about men's personal experience with this. Now I'm not gonna call any names or anything, and they know people who said something. They know who they are, and I really thought it's really an issue now. Before somebody tried to psychoanalyze me, no, I was never sexually abused as a young boy, but and there's a big but in there. Um, like in that video I did how I learned the game, I mentioned that my mother had some, shall we say, interesting friends. And one of these friends, an older woman, she was very touchy, like a little too touchy. Like always wanted to like hug and kiss me and all of that stuff. And for an 8-year old boy, especially back in the 70s, it wasn't as sexualized back then as it is now. You didn't have sex all over the place, and you couldn't just turn on some videos or anything like that. With, in fact, on TV, we had like maybe 7 channels, and those were all major channels. So we didn't have the same exposure to sex. So to a 8-year old boy who wants to just chill out, play tag, stuff like that, watch the $6 million man. Some older woman trying to be all touchy feely is like a no no, and it was annoying. But to my mother's credit, she handled the situation, and that's all I'll say about that. But over the years, I would pick up, like I remember, like I said in that how I learned the game video, I was eventually you know, went to live with my grandmother. And my grandmother, she wasn't one of those women who uh, told me lies about the nature of women. She was straight up honest, like raw. Because one, she didn't want me messing with the wrong woman. So she see any little girls in the neighborhood like looking my way, she'll say, "Oh no, no, she ain't good for you. No, no, she's dirty." I mean, she was straight up. Now there were a few she liked, but a lot. I remember one time she told me about this one little girl who had said she was going to get me, and grandmother picked up on the meeting, so she warned me. Unfortunately, I didn't listen hard enough. She did kind of get me, but at least she was around my age. Maybe a year younger than me, and I was a teenager. But anyway, um, the whole thing. One thing my grandmother did. She peeped out older women who lived in the neighborhood that she saw, and she said, "Yeah, watch out for that one. Watch out if she ever says she wants you to come over her house and do any work for her, something like that." And there were a couple women like that in that neighborhood. That a couple of the wise mothers peeped. Hold on for a second. Sorry about that. This weather change is getting to me. So I was always sensitive about that. Now, I knew that was my own experience, but as I got older and encountered other guys, and they felt cool enough with me to open up, they would tell me some shit. They would tell me some shit. Now Now, of course, you got the regular, teacher and student type of thing going on, which, depending on the age, isn't it's bad, but it ain't that bad. And the reason why I say ain't that bad because in some cultures, any male past the age of 13 is considered like an adult. And plus back then anyway, young guys had a lot more sense. So it's like it wasn't a total like one way thing. That being said, sometimes it could be. But no, I'm talking about situations where an older woman take advantage of a young boy. It could be an auntie, it could be a babysitter. Shit, in the really sick cases, it could be the mother. A famous person, Tyler Perry, he had talked extensively about the abuse he suffered as a child. Now, here's the thing, and this is why I really want to touch on this issue. He said both men and women abused him. Now, that's an interesting thing because, see, out here we always hear about rape culture and we always hear about what men are doing. But very few, I think there's one academic who like really discusses the sexual abuse of little boys, particularly little black boys. And just to be clear, this is something that goes across all races. But it's a very prevalent issue. It's very prevalent, but it's not talked about. It's not talked about, and what's not being said. If something like sexual abuse affects a little girl, so what's it doing to that little boy? Now I know, and see, you get these so-called feminists out here. Yeah, they ready to jump on some, talk about some rape culture and what these men are doing. But I don't see. I have yet to see anything where they talking about the abuse of little boys. If somebody has a link where some feminists are speaking out about the abuse, the sexual abuse of little boys, please share it with me. I don't know everything. I don't see everything. I haven't seen it personally, so I need y'all to help me with that one. But from my experience, I haven't seen them speak out on it. I don't, a lot of women, they don't speak out on it. At least a lot of young women, they know what's going on. See, a lot of times, one of the problems now, everything is put on the man. Everything. So my thing is this. So if some 20-year-old babysitter is having sex with some 11-year-old boy, how the fuck did that 11-year-old boy seduce her? No, she took advantage of him. She took advantage of him. Because even a case, and this is for reasons I ain't gonna get into. I've heard of cases where women have taken advantage of autistic boys. So what the fuck is that? Now they've been charged. Let's be clear. They've been charged. They've had a crime. They've been charged in the legal system. But where's the outcry? Where is the outcry? And this is something we really gotta think about. Like one thing I've said in countless videos, I pay close attention to any comments, any looks any older women give towards my sons. Like there was a woman who, friend of the family. I don't care if she hear this video. She almost got her ass fucked up for commenting that my 2-year-old son had nice lips. I'm like, what the fuck you looking at a 2-year-old boy's lips for? Seriously, it was about to get deep. Thankfully, cooler heads like prevailed, but I'll just say a message was sent. And and even with my oldest, I've noticed like there was a woman in the neighborhood always commenting on how tall and handsome he's getting, and I'm just giving her a look because she already got a boy toy as it is. So I'm like, well, okay, why are you checking out my son? You need to back that shit up. And that's one question and I always question my sons. Anytime they're around any older women, I was like, did she try to hug you? Was she looking at you? Did you feel uncomfortable? I always ask them. If there's an older woman, I always ask. Now, if it's a younger woman, that's different. Around their age, hey, that's cool. That's normal. But if it's a woman old enough to be maybe their mother, and that's about, the age of 13, maybe 12 years older, oh, a brother's asking. And I'm paying attention to that. I am very concerned. I'm going to be honest with you. They've very rarely been babysat. If I couldn't, if I couldn't find like a relative or something had to do something, they needed to be babysat. I couldn't find like a relative I really trusted. Shit, I just didn't do something that night because that's how deep it is. And see, you got a lot of see. The thing is, a young boy, he's still he's still at that age where that imprint can form. Let's go back to that imprint. Now, when I talked about that imprint, I had a lot of commenters hit me up, and even some people hit me up privately, talked about that imprint, what it did to them. Now, think about if some, some dirty old lady, and I'm gonna use the term dirty old lady, is the person who imprinted that young boy. Because first of all, if a woman in her 20s and she want to fuck with some dude who, some little boy who's 10, she got some mental issues. Because already she don't want to deal with an adult male. That's a first issue right there. She don't want to deal with somebody who's her equal or, quite frankly, her better. So there's always an issue there. You gotta check on that. There's always something. I remember one time, and this is back when I was living in D.C. I was somewhere, and I was wearing some. I was on a bus, had some shorts on, and back then we ain't had those long shorts back then. This is like the 70s, 80s, early 80s. So we was showing all leg and shit. I remember I was sitting on a bus, and this woman, I was sitting on one of those side seats, and this woman just sat across from me, white woman, sat across from me and just stared, and was visibly fidgeting and shit, just looking at my legs and shit. And I'm like about 14, and I'm like, what the fuck, you know? And I know, what, I know a lot of young guys, they fantasize about their teachers and all that shit, but it's one thing to fantasize, but it's quite another thing to actually deal with an older woman, because it really comes down to the emotion. It really comes down to that imprint. Now, what if, think about this young guy. His imprint is an older woman who probably, in most likelihood, has some mental issues. How's that shit gonna affect him the rest of his life? Because he's gonna have an attraction to some aberrant woman, and that's probably the main thing. He's gonna have an attraction. He ain't gonna know why. He might, he might get older and stuff, meet some like a really sweet girl, woman. Somebody got his back, love him and everything. But because she is sweet and shall we say functional, he might not even want to deal with him because he was imprinted by some crazy woman who had a fetish for a young boy. And and this is an issue we need to address. We need to, you know what? Everybody needs to speak up on it. I think. And I ain't gonna ask like a lot of dudes to speak up because that can be a sensitive shit. Yeah, and I know some dudes, they might try to say, "Hey, yeah, it's cool. I fuck my babysitter and all that shit," but is that shit really good for you in the long run? Because I mean, babysitters with dimes, like functional women. Functional woman, she has somebody closer to her age. So you dealing with a crazy woman, she abusing you, and yes, that's abuse. What's a 11-year-old gonna, or a little boy gonna tell some grown ass woman? She come over here talking about, hey, lick my pussy or something like that. What he supposed to do? He already got it in him to probably respect authority figures or adults. So she tell him all this shit, or she sucking on his little ding-a-ling or something. How that shit? Yeah, it might be pleasurable and all that to him, but then he might be in a state of confusion. And like I said, that imprint, he's imprinted. So this a issue. This a issue we need to talk about. This a issue that we need to be cognizant of. Like I said, with my sons, I be asking about teachers, female teachers. I pay attention to any women look their way. Shoot, I almost broke some woman's arm. She tried to reach out and touch my oldest son in public. I was like, get the fuck away from my son. Seriously. This This a serious issue, yo. This a serious issue. And you know what? I said all I need to say. This is one of those videos where I just want people to think about it. Just bring a light to it. Maybe I think there's a brother who's actually done a study on it. I gotta track his ass down. One of my Facebook friends, so it shouldn't be that hard. But it's something we gotta discuss. And you know what? And I put a challenge out to like the women. Y'all know it. Man, think about all y'all women out there. Y'all got like some little boys. You want some crazy old woman trying to get at them like that? Think about it. Y'all know. Y'all know each other. Y'all can try to pretend like y'all got some solidarity and all women are like cool and all that. But y'all know. Y'all know y'all got some skanky ass friends. Y'all know every woman, especially older women, every woman know that one woman in the neighborhood that, you gotta keep the boys from. You know. She might be that devil in the red dress I talked about in a previous video. But all women know. But see, one of the problems, and look, I said I was gonna make this shorter, but I gotta say this. A big problem is that women see a lot of this. I ain't telling women anything new. I ain't they know. They know what's up. They know they got some some skanky girlfriends who would probably do whatever. Or they know of somebody if they, some women don't like to admit they that close to somebody like that. So, but they know of, you know. Shoot, y'all the ones need to call that shit out. Cause what if that's your cousin? What if that's your son? You don't want to speak up and shit, but you know that. Like I said, and I've written this before. I've said this countless times. Every woman knows the skanky woman in the neighborhood, the one to watch out for. And we got to deal with it. Just like, hey, look, and I'm the first person. Trust me, I'm the first person to denounce sexual molestation of little girls. I'm the first person. I think that shit, any child molesters, anything like that, should be like punished by death. I don't give a fuck who get mad because of that shit. I don't give a fuck. All right, they should be punished by death. That shit ain't no joke. So if I'm saying this about little girls, hey, I'm saying this about the women too. Shoot, like the late Robin Harris said, shoot, hey, gotta go. I'll pull the lever. Shoot, make it more efficient. I'll do it with a piano wire. Shoot, if you want to, a nice little Garrett around the neck. Shoot, I'll take care of it. But it's something that we have to deal with just all the way around, and we have to. Well, first thing we just need to hold on. Sorry, y'all. I'm trying not to cough into the microphone, but we just have to acknowledge that this shit's happening, and a lot of dudes they have some stories, and you know what? To this day, they might not know, how that shit's affected them. They might not know, but it did affect them one way or the other. Some of y'all women complaining about some dudes dogging women and being evil towards women. Sometimes you might need to dig a little deep. Y'all might need to dig a little bit deeper, and y'all need to be concerned. Like I said, y'all got cousins, y'all got sons, y'all got brothers, y'all got nephews. This affects everybody. For the ones who still want to just say, they just concerned about just the little girls getting abused. Look, an abuser comes from somewhere. An abuser comes from somewhere. And it ain't always men doing that. It ain't always men. Like I used the example of Tyler Perry. You remember, he said a man and a woman. So, I don't usually call celebrities names like that, but he's made that shit public. And despite some career choices I might have some issues with, personal issues, but, I let him do him. He was very brave, as a man to stand up and just say, hey, this shit happened. And that's one of the things we have to stop. We have to be very protective. Like I said, very protective of my sons, any children in my orbit. If I gotta snap your neck to protect them, hey, I can live with it. So anyway, that's it for today. Share your thoughts on this video. And if somebody, like I said, if somebody know of an instance where a feminist has denounced the sexual abuse of little boys by women, Let's make that clear. It got to be the sexual abuse of little boys by women. If any feminist, any female writer done that, share the link with me. I want to see it seriously, because I'll stand up and applaud that woman. Because we used to we got to start calling some shit out here. So anyway, I'll let y'all tomorrow. I'll try to come back with something a little lighter. All right. Might have to introduce y'all to my Uncle Scooter tomorrow. Anyway, talk to you later. Peace.